How is it going, friends? Welcome to another episode of Two Twin Cities Live. We are flying by the seat of our pants today. We got a bit of a skeleton crew. It's myself and two gentlemen from the team, Alex and Nick, and of course Paul, Sweet Pea, on the ones and twos on the dials. If my camera starts to dip, say something in the comments. It seems to be happening, but anyhow, if you're new to this channel, what we do here is we really strive to be the best resource for all things living in the Twin Cities, all things living in Minnesota, anywhere on the internet. We focus on helping folks relocate to the Twin Cities, as well as helping first-time home buyers, and we have some cool stuff coming down the pike, that's the right word, regarding listings and giving people an idea of homes, price ranges on those homes, and like more specific looks at, I guess, listings that we have, other new builds and stuff like that I think will be a cool addition to this channel, and also, I don't know, all sorts of cool stuff. We really strive to just be a holistic look at all things living in the Twin Cities. Hardest working real estate team in the game, to the Twin Cities, same name as the channel. Yeah, thank you for watching. I guess I gotta go live on my phone so I can see if we have comments or whatever. Can't do that. Can't have sound. That's a problem. But yeah, the one thing that I guess I would like to mention is that I think this is the first one where, yeah, it definitely is. This is the first official live where we have switched brokerages. We were at a brokerage I was at a brokerage for about 3 years. The team had operated under that brokerage for that whole time, and we just switched over to a new one. It's just called Real Broker. If you happen to be an agent out there watching this, or an aspiring agent, we're growing the team. So we're adding new people to this team. If you happen to be an agent watching this, then hit me up if you want. If you have any interest in joining this team, we have a lot of really cool stuff kind of on its way. We're getting a new office soon. This might very well be the last live in this office. Rest in peace. And it's I don't know, it'll be nice. The new office is very, very cool. Still in Northeast, kind of in like the Marcy Homes neighborhood, kind of in Northeast, like right on the edge there. And it will be very cool. Way bigger, which is nice. Will allow for, sort of expanding the team and all that. So yeah, if you have any interest in that, get a hold of us. You can just, hit me up directly, info@tothetwincities.com. That's specific to agent stuff, but maybe put something in the subject line, new agent on To the Twin Cities or something like that. That said, if you're not an agent, if you're just somebody who lives in the Twin Cities, somebody who's thinking about moving to the Twin Cities, thanks for being here. As always, if you want to work with us, if you have any interest in working with us and hearing what we're doing, what we're all about, you can get a hold of us at tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less, or you can choose an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. Totally up to you how you do it. We'll just receive it, kind of get you going, get everything in the swing, and get you heading in the right direction. Yeah, today we're talking about Morningside Edina. If you've been watching these lives, you know that we put out a virtual tour. We put out an experience video. Virtual tours, in my opinion, that's like the most holistic look at a neighborhood, right? That's like a more well produced, really have like dug into things, and it's edited. It's a little tighter than something like this live. And yeah, it gives you a good sense of what a particular neighborhood is like. And then we do the experience videos, those videos are basically for people who are like, I like what I see here, I like what I'm hearing, let me like dive in a little bit deeper. And then these lives are, other than being a more general, talk about, general conversation about the Twin Cities, they're an even deeper and interactive dive into a particular neighborhood. If you've seen them, cool, thanks for watching, thanks for being here. And if you're new, also thank you for being here. Subscribe to the channel if all this stuff is appealing to you. Subscribe to the channel, of course. I'd love to get some comments going so we can answer some questions or anything like that. I think we do have some questions to answer maybe throughout or at the end anyway. But yeah, anyhow, we're talking about Morningside Edina. Sweet Pea, you want to pit me? This is for sure the smallest neighborhood we've talked about. Yeah. That's an exasperated laugh from Nick, because it's really small. We just got a comment from Smash. On the hunt for houses in the area, pretty slim pickings. Hope the market picks up soon. It's true. There's not a lot of inventory. That's driving competition up on homes. Yeah. This is classic early spring market in the Twin Cities. It's not really spring, but our spring market starts really early February, pretty much always. And most sellers are not trying to put their home on the market that early because they know it will show a little better a little later on in the year. So you kind of have this slow ramp up of homes. The demand tends to ramp up faster. I made a short video about this on social media. You will begin to see homes that were older stock, that maybe a house that's been on the market for 60, 90 days, maybe more, you'll start to see those disappear. And it's going to feel crazy if you show up to a house that's been on the market for 100 days and you're like, oh, we actually like this. And then you find out that there's an offer on it, all of a sudden. It's going to feel like you're being lied to by a listing agent, but it's probably not, it's probably not BS. It's probably a legitimate situation, because again, this old housing stock is sat here. Demand is starting to ramp up. Buyers are out there looking. They're making some offers on some new listings, getting beat out, and then they're looking at older stock during the week, especially. And then they're like, well, this one looks all right. Why has that been sitting? They think there's something wrong with it. They go visit it. Maybe there is nothing wrong with it. Maybe it's just the market. And they end up going for it, and maybe at the same time as you. So something to expect. And yeah, there will be more stuff on the market also, as sellers or potential sellers start to hear about the market heating up and, oh, we're in a multiple offer situation, or so-and-so down the street put their home on the market, they had 5 offers, competitive terms. Then a seller starts thinking, I should list my home as well because it's competitive again. Whereas 6 months ago, not so competitive. Hopefully that makes sense. We're pipped, so sorry for ranting about that while we're pipped. Okay, again, leave questions. Would love to answer questions or any kind of comment at all. We have Morningside Edina. If you're looking at this map, this little highlighted area right here, very small. I don't know. What do you think? 8 square blocks, something like that? 4 by 4, if that?
Very residential.
Yeah. But it's a very, very cute neighborhood. It's desirable, and it speaks to some of the areas around it as well. But this was, I think some of my pretty early clients who were relocating looked at Morningside, and they were really only paying attention to Morningside because it's a fairly unique proposition. You're really close to all of what Linden Hills has to offer, but you have Edina schools, which Alex will talk about the school specific to the area. Morningside is a very unique proposition. You will have you'll have a hard time finding like the character of home and the access to the cities with that high level of schools. It's pretty much Morningside, maybe like a White Oaks, maybe some of like Fern Hill and Lake Forest here in St. Louis Park. These are really beautiful areas as well, where you have like these cool older homes that are like really, really beautiful, but you're close to, B'nai Lake Harriet, etc., and even, like maybe like an uptown or a downtown or Kenwood, something like that. But then also have really, really highly rated schools. That said, even Fern Hill and Lake Forest, those schools aren't going to be quite as highly rated as anything in Edina. St. Louis Park has solid schools, but not as elite, say, as Edina. So again, it's really small, and I think a lot of what we're talking about today, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, will be things adjacent to Morningside, because it's very small. It'll be like, if you're living in Morningside, here's what you'll be partaking in. Right? Yeah.
Correct.
Because if we just stayed in the boundaries of Morningside,
it's a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like
houses.
You can go to a park. I guess there's some stuff along France that technically would count as being within Morningside, but it's not much. So we'll kind of do some interactive, dives into the streets and all that, we'll talk about what you would be accessing if you live there. But it's very cool. It's really a beautiful neighborhood, and I don't know, how are you feeling, gentlemen? Should we pop over?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about schools with Alex.
Cool. Good. Cool. Hey guys, Alex here. Going to be talking about schools in Edina. But before that, feel free to reach out to me if you want to work with me. My name is Alex. Sorry. A lot of research getting done here. My phone number is 952-446-5604. You can shoot me an email at alex@tothetwincities.com. Instagram, Alex to the Twin Cities. Okay, now that is out of the way, let's jump into schools. So, Edina Public Schools, very highly reputable school district. They have 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school. The high school has roughly about 2,700 students, give or take. A lot of these West Metro high schools are always growing in numbers, and they're always adding new elementary schools and middle schools, just because, generally speaking, the schools west of the city are some of the best in the state, and Edina is definitely included in that list. They were ranked 89 on Newsweek's list of the top 1,200 schools in America. So, very highly ranked. And another thing I found interesting was that the Grammy Foundation actually selected Edina High School as one of the 42 signature schools because of their reputable music program. So, Edina bands in general, like, very highly regarded. They tour to like so many different places just because they have those kind of opportunities. The music program is very well established. They've gone to Hawaii, Hong Kong, Beijing, Singapore, Chicago, New York, San Diego, just like so many opportunities that you don't think a high schooler in band would necessarily have, but it just, again, goes to show the opportunities that a student would have in Edina. With that said, also, outside of music, they have a very highly ranked debate team and robotics team that won some national, like, prestigious national award that is like the best of the best. So it's just like, they're checking every box pretty much between academics to athletics. They're kind of a powerhouse, and obviously that goes to show how great their faculty is as well. So very highly regarded. They have a STEAM program, which is pretty much STEM for, I think a lot of other schools. But yeah, that's science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and that's just, something Edina prides itself on. It's a very highly regarded program, and, not every public school is going to offer something like that. And, I think that's one of the main pieces that sets Edina Public Schools apart from a lot of different public schools in Minnesota is that they have these programs, they have incredible faculty to support these programs and just provide so many opportunities that students wouldn't get, at other schools potentially. So that's what I have for academics. Just a quick rundown of athletics. They're also pretty incredible. 198 high school state championships. So
Whoa.
across all their sports, that's like kind of insane. Kind of crazy. Yeah, tremendous. Boys hockey has 16 state championships, which is like a state record as well. So I mean, absolutely crazy.
My cousin played for Edina hockey, and I think he was on varsity when he was a freshman.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, which is such a competitive spot. But
yeah, and I remember, I went to Wayzata, and it was always like a really big game playing Edina. And I mean, that goes to, you can say that for like any school in the Lake Conference
playing Edina
athletic district. But like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like, that was a big rivalry, and I think, again, it speaks volumes to how prestigious their athletic program is there. So, big school with a lot of students, that's gonna, make athletics more competitive in general. If it comes down to like, playing on the varsity team or, making the top team for whatever it is, like there's ultimately more competition between the students, but at the end of the day, like you're gonna be in some of the best programs in the state for athletics. I think I already touched on this, but other schools in the Lake Conference Athletic District include Wayzata, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, I think St. Michael. But yeah, very competitive, but ultimately great programs. So that's all I have for schools in Edina. Kick it back over to Jesse.
Sweet. Yeah, cool. For sure, Edina, known for its schools, right? It's like always going to be in a top 5 list of best schools in the Twin Cities. I don't know about always, but has been for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I said this in the comments, but if you're watching, would you do me a favor and hit the like button? So hopefully more people can see that this is happening. For those of you who don't know, supposedly it's about to get crazy with the weather. Yet here we are in our office, 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, making this for y'all. I guess I'm told we're about to get potentially record snows, but you never know, right? Like I've heard that a lot of times in my life, only to get like a little bit of snow. I figured. I guess Nick's going to talk about like some of the stuff going on there in Morningside or nearby Morningside. I'd like to say that today, and if you look at our Instagram at To the Twin Cities, this will confirm that I was just at Cafe Ceres this morning, I believe is how you say it, which is in Linden Hills, which is right next to it. You pipping me? And it's such a great cafe. I don't know if y'all have ever been there. Really cool little cafe.
Which one?
Cafe Ceres?
Is it near Martina?
No. It's by Sustainable 9, which is a builder. They make very cool stuff.
They are.
Make very, very cool homes.
Very cool.
If you ever want to work with them, get a hold of us. We'd love to help you. They make beautiful homes. But yeah, there's like this little strip. Oh, it's by the old where Faribault Mill used to be.
R.I.P.
In Linden Hills, yeah. Big rip.
They're just down the street at 50th and France.
Yeah. They're still super close. But they had a really cool building. You can see it here, actually. This new structure here, which is like luxury apartments, used to be a Faribault Mill, which is like a blanket or a woolen mill, known for really good blankets.
Wow, they're really making progress.
I know, it's crazy. I was there today. It looked a lot like this.
It was kind of sad because it was an early 1900s farmhouse that was in really good shape.
Yeah, it was like a very charming little spot, but that's
too bad they couldn't have picked it up and moved it.
Yeah, true. I think they talked about, like offering that, and just nobody took them up on it.
Lord knows there's enough cash in that city to do it.
True. But yeah, so anyway, this is Linden Hills, but it's very, very close. You also have Turtle Bread Company. But yeah, Cafe Ceres. Would recommend. Very good. I guess I'll back out of this. So again, I hate the way it's making me do Street View, but hey, what do you do? Really, like, kind of strange boundaries over here, but it's going to be mostly sort of recognizable from a commercial standpoint by what's going on around 44th in France, which is, not a ton, but enough. So let me street view that real quick. I'm sure Nick will talk about some of these things.
Yeah, do you want to pit me and then keep the street view or the maps on the large one?
Yeah, you want to talk about this stuff and then I'll...
Yeah.
Okay.
We good to dive in?
Rockin'.
Cool. Hope everyone's doing well. We are hunkered down here, like Jesse mentioned, awaiting a blizzard. We'll see what happens. So just a few stats on Morningside. Small little, technically a first-ring suburb adjacent to Linden Hills, just west of Lakes Harriet and Baie-des-Makaska, formerly Lake Calhoun. Very well known for its distinct geography and also the architecture in the area, which I think we already touched on, is some of the finest in the city. Really, really nice neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, great place to go for a walk. Morningside is actually, if you were to look in a map, I don't know, are you on the map, Jesse? Like the actual map? It's in the northeast corner of Edina, which Edina spans kind of a large area, but the eastern side here is going to feel a lot more like Minneapolis, which we've already been talking about. Neighbors Linden Hills and Fulton, really well-known neighborhoods. Yeah. So actually, fun fact about Morningside, it used to be what's known as a streetcar suburb. Kind of a fun thing about Lake Harriet too, it's known for the former streetcars that used to run along there way back in the day. And that actually led to Morningside growing at a rapid pace. So the population of Morningside is roughly 2,500, give or take. You've seen the borders, it's a small little sect of Edina. So as far as places to go, things to do in Morningside proper, 44th in France or Sunnyside Road is right there. It makes a little triangle. There's a Brugger's Bagels, which is awesome. There's a Caribou Coffee nearby. Just to the east in Linden Hills, you've got Wooden Ship Brewing. There's a Hello Pizza there and Old Southern Barbecue, which is very highly rated. They had like 900 reviews, almost 5 stars.
Wooden Ship has trivia. I don't remember what days, but they're like one of the many places that host trivia.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's just so like tucked into the Linden Hills neighborhood.
It's vibey.
Yeah.
Morningside, Linden Hills, Fulton. If you just look at this area, southwest Minneapolis. When we meet with new people, the lifestyle is what a lot of people are looking for. It's one of the few places where you'll find some really rockin' walkability as far as boutique restaurants and, nightlife, stuff like that. More chill nightlife. Going and getting a cocktail at one of these places or over in Linden Hills is a cool experience. At any rate, as Jesse mentioned earlier, a lot of your amenities are going to be nearby. So some of those are going to be to the south. 50th in France is kind of a large commerce hub, relatively speaking. You've got Coalition over there, Red Cow. We already mentioned Wooden Ship, which is actually down in that area. Edina Grill, Casino del Barrio, Crispin Green. The Lynn Hall is kind of a well-known place down there as well. And of course, you do have Starbucks down there.
Shout outs to Edina Theater. It's sick.
Yeah.
It also has, it's not technically in Morningside, obviously, but it's very close. Has a very cool, maybe I can pull it up, has like a bar themed after, Here's Johnny. What's that movie?
I don't know.
Hit Me.
Oh.
The Shining. Yeah.
Oh, here's Johnny.
Yeah. It's sweet. But anyhow.
No, 50th in France, Morningside, this whole area, I would say is, how do I describe it? It's just
upscale.
Yeah, it's bougie. I mean, how else do you put it?
Bougie.
The neighborhoods are very nice in every sense of the word. The homes are nice. The businesses are nice. The streets are nice. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Nice.
So to the south, we already talked about 50th and France. To the north, you've got Excelsior Boulevard, which is technically in St. Louis Park, which runs east over to Minneapolis. Lots going on over there. You have, there's a Fresh Time over there. I want to say there's a Trader Joe's. Tons of businesses along there. It's a little bit more hustly and bustly because it's right off of Highway 100, which is another positive to Morningside. You got that small neighborhood feel about the highway access. Also, a little bit further north, and this is pretty deep in St. Louis Park, but Costco is only 10 minutes away, which some people, big Costco guy here, it's very close by. It's very convenient. So there is that.
There's also like 2 Targets. When Steve and I did the virtual tour on this, there's 2 Targets within like 7 minutes of it. So
Yeah.
there's the Edina Target, and then there's St. Louis Park Target. So and the Uptown, like the little Target.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tons of that stuff.
It's an awesome location because one of my qualms with Minneapolis, you get deep into these neighborhoods and they're beautiful, these residential neighborhoods, but they are residential. They can be challenging to get out of. So Morningside is kind of just, tucked right in there next to the highway, so you can have that nice little good feeling and then get out and get where you need to go. All right, at any rate, some of the events going on, these are more so Edina as a whole. Again, Morningside is kind of a micro neighborhood in Edina as a whole. In winter, they have a New Year's Eve party, as well as the Winter Ice Festival, which is held at Centennial Lakes Park, which is a beautiful kind of, how do you describe it? It is a park space, but it's in between some large office buildings. There's ice skating there in the winter, mini golf in the summer. So they do this in the winter. Spring, they have the Edina Art Fair, which I frequent with my mother almost every year. In
Shouts
addition to
out
the
Mrs.
up-down.
Host.
Yeah. It's just really fun. And that is organized by the 50th and France Business and Professional Association. So, and then in fall, they've got the Halibut Trick or Treat Trail. And this is held at the Edinburgh Indoor Park. That's down closer to York, down by 494, I want to say, nearby Centennial Lakes.
494 in York.
It's called Edinburgh.
Yep. Boom, Edinburgh Park.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Got him.
More of a kids thing, Halibut,
Looks all right though.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Crazy.
And France Avenue in general is definitely a commerce hub. You've got Southdale Mall over there, tons of restaurants. There's an AMC theater, Dave & Buster's, Restoration Hardware, tons of stuff like that. I did just realize that I skipped over the spring events. Taste of Edina is something that's organized by the Chamber of Commerce. They organize a sampling of basically all the local cuisine, craft beers, liquor, stuff like that. So they've got a ton of stuff going on. I just cherry-picked a few from each season, but Edina's website, which is very well put together, surprisingly, just kidding, they've got tons of stuff going on. Also, a lot of stuff that I read, in addition to looking at their annual calendar, they host tons of local council meetings, neighborhood watch meetings, stuff like that. So it's a very, good place to live. People are looking out for one another over there. So that's what I gathered from looking at the calendar. Something that we also like to do as far as amenities, talking about grocery, gas stations, that kind of stuff. What are you going to be looking at for those things? So there were 3 main contenders that I noticed in that general vicinity. There were 2 speedways, 2 holidays, shout out Steve, and 2 BPs nearby. Other than that, like I mentioned, Costco gas to the north. But those 3 are dominating the gas station situation over in that area.
Really got it on lock.
They do.
It's the monopoly over there.
Yeah. As far as grocery, Linden Hills Co-op is right across the street from Morningside, which is a really well-known kind of local grocery store. I don't know. It's hard to. How would you describe a co-op to someone? I never know how to do it.
A co-op, I mean, fundamentally, by definition, it's a cooperatively owned grocery. Always organic, like. The co-ops in the Twin Cities are dope. They're really great. I'm a big fan of co-ops. I probably go there more than any other grocery store. But
Seward Co-op over by me, there's always very busy.
Yeah, there's Seward, there's Seward Friendship, there's the Wedge, there's Eastside Food Co-op in Northeast, which when I'm at the shop, I'm there all the time. There's Linden Hills, Mississippi Market, there's Valley Natural, shout out Bradford. Worked there for like 16
Dropping
years.
names tonight.
Yeah, the co-ops are great, but it's very much like an organic food, like with like a focus on quality produce, not super junky food.
Farm to table.
Yeah. You also maybe Nick was going to get to this. Oh yeah, you probably were, but yeah, I'll let you continue.
What was your thought?
That there's a Whole Foods really close.
Yeah.
My Whole Foods.
I don't need to add more to that.
I own
Yeah, that's over off of Excelsior Boulevard, right off the lake as well, which is, west of the lake. There's just all these really cool little micro commerce centers, which I really like. They're not big boxy like some of our third ring suburbs, which have their place. But the last thing I had to mention really was that lots of great healthcare options nearby. Obviously, being in the city. Methodist Hospital, which is where I was born, right over off Excelsior as well, and then the Park Nicollet Clinic, which is off Excelsior, probably half a mile to the east. So I think that's a major plus.
Yep, definitely.
I don't really have much else other than that. I mean, it's a tiny little neighborhood in Edina. Edina as a whole, very nice city. We're kind of beating a dead horse with that one, probably from all the Edina content you've seen. It's one of the most desirable suburbs to live in the Twin Cities metro. Period.
Yeah, super great. I'll kind of peruse the map here a little bit. So as Nick was talking, I kind of did this, but in case it wasn't very smooth, here's the totality of Edina, right? This is kind of looks like the state of Utah, but much smaller. This little like smokestack is Morningside, right? So it's like barely even really Edina. Right?
It's Minneapolis for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, and then I want to make sure I'm right about this. So just to the west is St. Louis Park, right? And just to the east is Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. France Avenue is basically the westernmost border of Minneapolis.
Yep, and so France is a very slick, like really good access to all sorts of things, really, but to uptown. To some of this stuff over here, like Nick was talking about, Wakame is a great sushi spot if you're at all trying to dig on that. Taberna is a really surprisingly, shockingly cheap Mexican Asian fusion. Super good though. Seed is a really good vegan cafe. They have like a kale Caesar that'll knock your socks off. Let's see, huh?
I said okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Rustica is an awesome. There's one of these in Southdale Mall or by Southdale Mall too. If you're looking for like a bakery, good pastries, Rustica's dope. The avocado toast.
There's a Crisp and Green right there as well too.
Yep, also Crisp and Green.
I'm sad that Burger Jones went out of business, but
what do you do?
What do you do?
Honey and Rye is a cool spot too. Anyway, there's a lot of really cool stuff just by it.
It's a phenomenal location.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously these lakes. I mean, access to the likes of Lake Harriet is so much of like what it's about here. It's just like it's a beautiful lake. If you're here, you have like access to the chain of lakes, you can get. I mean, really all over the place from there. You can get to the Minnehaha Creek, which can then take you all the way across Minneapolis, all the way to the river, really. But yeah, it's the kind of spot where like you just go take a drive because it's beautiful, or a bike ride or whatever around the lake. It's really great. So I think you can unpit me.
Could I add one little tidbit since Steve's not here?
Please do.
As of January 2023, the median sales price in Edina as a whole for a home, single family, is $795,000. It's a spendy area, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yep.
That's Edina as a whole. Let me see if I can pull up Morningside specifically.
I don't think you can actually.
I don't know if they break it down by neighborhood.
Yeah, I tried earlier.
I wouldn't even say that would be skewed by any one particular area of Edina either, because the homes on the east side of Edina that are Minneapolis adjacent are expensive for their own reasons, and then you start going on the western side close to Eden Prairie and they're expensive because they're massive.
Yeah.
As opposed to architecturally unique or very nicely situated from a location standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're like trying to find something modest, first of all, hard to do. But they're maybe on the eastern side, you'll find something smaller. If you're looking for like a fixer-upper, sort of like buy the cheapest home in the most expensive neighborhood, maybe somewhere, but not really Morningside, but somewhere on that like eastern, northeastern quadrant, you'll probably find the most modest like homes as in terms of like size, but there's some like 60s and 70s homes sprinkled throughout Edina where it gets relatively affordable.
When you get down closer to the Armitage area, I would say, to your point, there's going to be more affordability there. Otherwise, a lot of times, and if you drive through Edina, you'll see this, especially this eastern side, people buy these older homes and they scrape them. Yeah. Because the land value is so high. Yeah. They just build new ones. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like access to the schools and all that. Sometimes the sort of best values in terms of getting into a neighborhood like this would be to be on a busy road like France.
Seriously. I see a lot of the best value homes off of France because it is a heavily trafficked road.
Yeah. So if the main goal is to get into a neighborhood, to get into specific schools, then to potentially be like right on France is kind of that sweet spot, or really close to 62 or something like that.
I don't think there's anywhere in Edina where you can pull kind of a little slick move similar to how you would be able to over in Wayzata if you buy a home in Plymouth that's serviced by Wayzata schools. I think Edina, if you're not in Edina proper, you're SOL. I don't know if they have open enrollment, something we're looking into more.
Yeah.
On another channel.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a pretty holistic look. Again, if you are interested in Morningside or Edina at all, we have more videos about this on the channel. We have Morningside, we have the whole virtual tour and the experience video, and now kind of this dive. Of course, if you have any questions, leave that, and we're happy to sort of circle back to it. But I figured since we got the skeleton crew in action today, we might answer a couple questions, or at least one. I got a really interesting question the other day while meeting with a new client who found us here. The question was basically just like, how do you pick a neighborhood in the Twin Cities? Right? Like, just how do you arrive? And I'm like, that's a really good question, because the metro is massive, and if you're not from here, it's just so much to look at. Like if you're just beginning to have the idea, the thought of like, maybe I'll move to the Twin Cities, then you Google, maps, Minneapolis, St. Paul. This map is crazy to look at. It's like, okay, what does any of this mean? Which obviously that's what this YouTube channel is for, is to like, give identity to some of the things that maybe you search, right? Maybe you search like, Wayzata, it's right by this big lake. What's that like? We got a video. We talk about, here's what's good about it, all that.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
We do our darndest on this channel, especially for our folks that are moving here from out of state, to get across how certain places are going to feel. I would say in choosing a spot to live in the metro, boiled down to its simplest point, it would be, how do you find the sweet spot of what you see for yourself as a lifestyle combined with your budget? And then also, if at all possible, being able to come here even for a weekend to do a recon trip and just do some driving. I think that's tremendously helpful. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people, by the time we're talking to them, a lot of people have gone down the rabbit hole of our channel, right? And they've like narrowed in on some things where they're like, we think we like this, We have a comment, I wish I knew your name. He's using codes. That's So I'd say picking one based off the school district. For sure, that's a common theme, but some people don't care at all about schools. We have some clients who homeschool their kids, and they're like, we do not care. We also have some clients who don't have kids at all. And they're just like, schools are not even in the conversation. But for sure, a lot of people, that's like a main priority. But the reality is, Twin Cities has pretty good schools, like all throughout. There's obviously some are better than others, some are worse than others. But if you're looking for pretty good schools, man, there's a lot to choose from. So it still can sort of feel like this, overwhelming, task to figure out, where you're trying to be. Obviously, some people are going to have, and maybe we'll make a whole video about this, like how to choose a neighborhood, and then we can, give a little bit more. My first name is Hees, middle name is Musing, last name Codes.
Oh,
Mr. Codes. That's funny.
it's Steve's dad again. I know it.
I love Steve's dad. Mr. Wilk.
It was a dad joke.
Yeah. I seem to remember that was a different thing. Anyway.
That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but anyway, I think we'll chat about all that stuff.
I have something to say about this too. So
please.
I think, in my experience, I think when a lot of people are, scoping out places to live here, sometimes it can come down to like, they want an area that's walkable to like nearby shops and stores, but they also want to try and get into a place with a reputable school district. And sometimes that can be like, one side is favored over the other, and it's hard to like get the best of both worlds. I think there are a couple areas that come to mind when you're trying to like get into an area that's a little bit more walkable and has like a distinct downtown area with a nice school. And like, I guess I would consider like St. Anthony part in that list, and then also even parts of Edina that's maybe a little bit closer to like, a little bit more east, with some walkability over there.
Like Morningside?
Yeah, like Morningside.
Yeah.
I'd throw that in there. But
I'll add to that. A distinction needs to be made when talking about walkability. You and I always riff on this.
Yeah.
Walkable for a little leisure walk, or walking to grab coffee and run errands are very different.
Right.
To Alex's point, finding the downtown walkability, it can be a challenge.
I would also add Hopkins to that list, because Hopkins, they have a pretty good school district, and they have
I agree. Main Street's dope.
Yeah, they have like a very distinct downtown area. So I would definitely recommend checking out that virtual tour if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. But it's just kind of
lifestyle, budget, and then we do our best to make ethical recommendations based on those two things.
Right. Yeah, obviously, like as realtors, there's certain things we can't steer based on protected classes, and I think we're really good at not doing that. Some people will maybe throw things out, and maybe it's a protected class or something like that. But it's like, well, that's we can't answer. We can't give you an opinion based on those things because those are protected classes. But we actually find that those protected classes are not even very good like guidelines with which to give advice. Like, so even if we could, that's not a very effective way to give advice. Zeroing in on stuff like what does the neighborhood feel like? What is your lifestyle like if you're living in an area? Mic's on. Mic's hot, boys.
We're talking in class.
Yeah, no whispering. You got a mic pointed
Some
right
talking as boys over here, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, if you're looking at this, so the big thing I would sort of say, number one, start with, do you have any geographical ties to anything in the Twin Cities? Are you getting a job anywhere? Do you think you might get a job somewhere where you have to go in? If you don't have to go into the office, then you don't have any ties, right? Or maybe you suspect eventually you'll have some ties to somewhere. But that's kind of step one. Are you geographically tied to anything? Because if you were like, yeah, I'm getting a job in Woodbury, I would say, but you're like, but I really like the idea of living in Excelsior. I'd say, hold on to your hat. you got a long drive ahead of you, like every day.
Yeah.
Hope
you're a morning person.
Yeah. You got a helicopter? Because that might be cool. So first of all, geographic ties, right? Is there anything in particular that you're tied to? Second, lifestyle, right? Are you, or maybe proximity to the city, right? I've had somebody left a comment of like, after COVID, proximity to the city doesn't even matter because people aren't working in the city. I'm like, well, yeah, it still does because people want to go to the city. People want to, go to cultural events or whatever, and maybe they don't want to drive an hour to go to a concert, So is being close to the city and sort of the cultural center important to you? If so, okay. The reality is in the Twin Cities, just about the whole metro, maybe not the whole metro, but a huge majority of the population probably lives within about a half an hour of either Minneapolis or St. Paul. And for reference, downtown Minneapolis is maybe 15 minutes to downtown St. Paul, right? Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I make that drive all the time. That's very accurate.
Right, yeah, same. And a lot of people kind of don't realize how close these are together, or how close maybe something like Minnetonka is to Minneapolis. Again, pretty much anything in this sort of like, other than just the outside ring, just about everything is within a half hour of one of the two cities. Even Hastings is about half an hour from St. Paul, right? Much to Nick's chagrin. Stillwater, a little more than a half an hour to St. Paul, but like really close to that.
Same with Waconia.
Yeah, Waconia.
I love Waconia, Paul. It's 45 minutes from here
to Minneapolis.
It's 40.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the time of day.
Yeah. Waconia it's 40 to 45 minutes.
It's 38 minutes from South Minneapolis to Victoria, and Waconia is another 8 miles west. So call it 40.
That's a grip. Anyway, so we
have this conversation with clients a lot because, especially when you're talking in terms of time, depending on which region of the country you're coming from, 30 minutes could be a very different, amount of miles traveled.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah.
That's all I have to add.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people say, well, I'm currently driving 2 hours to work because they live in like LA or something. And I'm like, well, 2 hours is like Duluth. That's a lot of miles. You might be used to 2 hours getting you 10, 15 miles in somewhere like LA, or maybe even like San Francisco or something, maybe in Washington. But 2 hours is a very far distance in Minnesota.
That's a day trip.
Yeah, that's a the reality is like you'd be putting a buku miles on your vehicle. St. Cloud to downtown Minneapolis is like an hour 15.
Hour 15.
Yeah.
Like on the nuts pretty much.
Yeah. So, anyhow, you're like, geographically, do you care about being close to the cities? Okay. And then from there, you figure out, if not, then that opens up all of the edges. What type of home do you want, right? Do you want an old home? First of all, what's your budget? How about that, right? If your budget is under a certain amount, there's a whole bunch of the metro that you can, and let's say you want a single family house, Canadian.
Sound like David from Love It or List It. House. You from Calgary, man?
I've never been to Calgary.
Sorry.
It's okay. You let's say you have, let's say your budget's $400,000. The reality is, and you're looking for a single family house, your budget, that pretty much blocks off this whole like western lake region, Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Wayzata, maybe up to Plymouth, Corcoran.
West of 494.
Yeah, west of 494, really. That pretty much, maybe every now and then you'll see a $400,000 single family, but it's going to really, really limit your budget.
And it needs a lot of work if it's that price.
Yeah.
Or it's small.
Got another comment. I'm looking to I'm looking at moving to Eagan come June. Best recommendations. Looking at apartments to rent. I'm a recent graduate and looking to be close to Vikings headquarters, but close to food. I mean, close to food. Eagan is food town. Okay, Eagan has Eagan is like one of those like ultimate suburbs. We have a virtual tour on Eagan, so if you haven't watched that, watch it. There's a ton of stuff in Eagan. It's in comparable to like a Woodbury or maybe like a Maple Grove in terms of its like suburban.
A lot of big box.
Suburban, epicness, where it's just like it has all the things, right?
Minneapolis and St. Paul, mom and pop, like more local stuff, very accessible from Eagan.
True. Both Minneapolis and St. Paul are extremely accessible from a lot of Eagan. Obviously, like this southeast corner, it's going to be less accessible to like a Minneapolis. But this northern section of Eagan, very, very extremely accessible, to both Minneapolis and St. Paul.
35E and 77 just take you right up into each one.
Yep. So you'll have. There's a great movie theater right by this Trader Joe's. Imagine Eagan, big fan. Do another virtual tour of Eagan. Okay, copy that, Mr. Codes.
Eagan is popular. We've been hearing that a lot lately.
Yeah, I mean Eagan's great. We'll do another one. The Casper's. My girlfriend likes Casper's. It's like a cool, it's like an old school bar. Anyway, Casper's Wine and Spirits.
Do they have pull tabs?
Like the Ghost, probably pretty pull tabby. But yeah, you got like a Trader Joe's, you got an Imagine, you got a Target, there's Starbucks and all that. Along Cliff and right off 35, there is a Quick Trip. Shouts out. Yeah, I mean, up 20 points, But then there's also like a whole section, here it is. There's a Hy-Vee, great Hy-Vee over here, and this is like commercial town, right off Pilot Knob and Yankee Doodle, which I think wins funniest street name in the Twin Cities.
Yankee Doodle?
Yeah, Yankee Doodle.
Or Pilot Knob.
Yeah, Pilot Knob is also a pretty funny one. And the fact that they intersect is also fantastic. At the corner of Yankee Doodle and Pilot Knob. It sounds like absolute nonsense. This whole spot, tons and tons and tons of stuff. It's going to be pretty chain, chain oriented. You also have the Eagan Outlet Mall, right over Twin Cities Premium Outlets. Pretty great, like open air outlet.
Oh yeah, I go there not frequently, but I would say I go there actually more often than Mall of America.
I mean, that's fair. It's a lot easier to get through.
Yeah, the open air is nice too.
Yeah, except
right now.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I hope some folks buy a townhome like right over by this. And it was a sweet townhome, pretty good value. So okay, there's the outlet mall. Lot of stuff in here. It's got some like pretty big names in terms of the outlet. The other outlet mall is Albertville in the Twin Cities. Hopefully that answers that Eagan situation. Oh, I was up there over the summer for about a month. Lone Oak, best buffalo chicken wrap around anywhere.
Whoa. Did they have blue cheese dressing? If so, how was it?
High marks, my man. Lone Oak. Is that Lone Oak Grill? Okay, sure. Because like Lone Oak is the name of a road. Oh, it's by Volstead's too.
Speakeasy?
Yeah.
I do like a good chicken wrap.
Volstead's is sweet. Clayton, I don't know if you went to Volstead, but it's also very cool. You were right by it, so pretty cool place. And that's coming from a guy who doesn't drink. But there's like a soda fountain in front, and then in the back is the whiskey room.
Adults only.
Very speakeasy-ish. More of a ranch guy myself.
Hey.
I'm with you, Clayton. Okay. But yeah, Lone Oak right off.
We'll let it slide.
That makes sense. You're a blue cheese guy?
Oh, I
Love
blue
blue
cheese.
Over ranch?
You're off the team. Get out of here.
There is a
Dude,
locally...
Blue Door Pub will change you when you have their blue cheese.
Dude, there's a locally made blue cheese by Ama Blue out of Faribault. Amazing.
Yeah, well, have you had the ranch from Pizza Luce?
I get down with ranch. Nothing against it. I just love blue cheese,
Man.
especially with a chicken wrap.
I mean, you can't be right about everything. Sorry. Anyway, Clayton, I'm with you on that. I think if you can stay, if you're looking for like like an apartment close to stuff and close to the cities, I would probably just stay further up north in Eagan, right? Maybe north of like Diffley or something like that. Another funny name now that I think about it. Maybe in this like upper half or so, closer to 77, closer to 35, closer to 494, and I think you'll find that you have a really great access to a lot of stuff. Also, really good access to even the Mall of America. Again, not that once you live here, you don't go there that often.
The novelty wears off.
Yeah.
No.
It becomes like this whole thing.
It used to be fun to go there and people watch during Black Friday when it was OG Black Friday. Now that they've spread everything out, it's a lot less interesting.
I mean, I believe that.
Make an IKEA trip every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's right there.
I go to IKEA more than I go to the Mall of
Yeah.
America.
I didn't realize how few brick and mortar IKEA locations there are.
I mean, like one for every metro, usually.
Yeah.
Well,
the closest one to us is Chicago, I think.
Chicago.
7 hours away from us. 8.
Chicago. Clayton says, I've been watching your videos for months. You've helped me try to decide where to live. And suggestions, I'm getting a job with the Vikes. Let's go! So just looking to be close to that and U.S. Bank. Sweet.
We helped a guy that was going to work with the Vikings. He ended up, who did he end up working for instead?
I
It was
don't remember.
Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Really nice dude.
Cool dude though, yeah. Yeah, that was like a flash in the pan.
It was.
He was like, yeah, I'm going to get a job with the...
It was between the Jazz and the Vikings.
Yeah, it was like 3 days later, he's like... Never mind.
For like media production.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, that's very cool. I suppose you've seen the new Vikings campus and stuff. That's like crazy. But yeah, I think if you're in Eagan, especially closer, further north, you have really good access, and that's cool to hear. Thank you for saying so, Clayton. So I hope that to some degree that answers that question of like how to decide where to be. But I think we'll do a video, a more well thought out, like a more produced video about like how to decide where to live. Because again, a pretty diverse like lifestyle opportunity. If we're saying Elk River's in the metro, which technically it is now in the 11 county metro, Elk River is going to be a just wildly different lifestyle than living in Uptown, right? I mean, just
different worlds.
Totally different worlds. And so, I think hopefully that helpful. When I was up there for a month, I was working at the facility as a month as an intern. That's sick. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you for saying so. I think we got to do Alex's picks.
Nick's got some too.
Nick's got
I'm good.
picks.
I'm bringing it back next week. All right,
Alright,
I'm throwing it out there right now.
Bringing it back.
I'll do both.
Nice.
Sick. All right.
All right. So this first one, Fridley.
Let me pull it up. What the?
Give us just a second.
Fun fact, I've looked at this house before.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Perfect.
2 years ago.
Looks
It's
like it
still
was. Looks like it was commercial at one point.
Yeah, it's like such an interesting building. You'll see this kind of thing in like a New Mexico all the time, like this, like the flat roof and stuff. But you do not see that in Minnesota.
I guarantee you it was an old like dentist office or something.
Dentist.
Mhm.
There's actually a handful of them up in Northeast off of Johnson.
Old dentist office.
Just
type of building,
houses like these that are like right on the corner,
Yeah.
so you know that they were commercial. Anyway.
Yeah.
I looked
Dirt
at
road.
Yeah, but very cute 3-bed 1 bath single family home. Listed at $275 over in Fridley. I liked the hardwood in here and the updated kitchen. It's a little bit smaller, but the basement's finished and it'd be a great starter home. A pretty solid area as well. You have a good amount of yard space too. I think maybe there's a fenced in yard. I see some chain link over there
Yeah,
on that
it
side.
is.
So yeah, fenced in.
Two-car garage.
2-car garage. Yeah, I mean everything is updated, and you probably have, a decent height for a ceiling in the basement, which is like kind of hard to get with some of those older homes in that area. So
Kind of got that industrial finish with the
yeah,
painted joists. That was a quintessential starter home right there,
yeah,
and in darn good shape.
yeah, very. So
Sweet.
yeah, solid.
Let's move over to the northeast one.
Yeah, I actually checked this one out last week.
Oh yeah. 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,828 square feet, listed at $350.
Yeah,
Yeah, roof looks like it could use a little bit of love, but it's also winter, so it's a little hard to tell.
yeah, yeah. This one was really, really pretty. I actually have a little video of it on my Instagram. So
Nice.
if you go check out my most recent post, swipe through, you'll see it.
Where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, Alex to the Twin Cities
There we go.
Instagram. Go give me a follow, leave a comment. Would very much appreciate it. Would love to connect. But yeah, I checked this one out. I loved that little porch area. Could be converted into a four-season porch. You add some baseboard heating in there and heat it up. It was relatively warm the day I checked it out, so it wasn't too bad out there. But
Cool kitchen layout.
yeah, definitely. I mean, so many of these homes just have like very nuclear like rooms and layouts where the kitchen is disconnected from the rest of the home, but it was just so opened up and flowed very well. In that video, I just like was able to get everything in one shot, and
It looks like they opened up the bedroom.
I wonder if they took the wall out
Yeah.
because it's 1949 and you never see a peninsula. It's
Yeah.
always a galley.
I think you can see. Well, actually, I'm saying in this bedroom too.
Like the bedroom that's always off the kitchen with the two doors in that kind of layout.
Yeah, so there's like this. It looks like probably the primary bedroom.
The one with the two pink pillows and the white pillow.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. So you walk in the front door. There's the main space on the right, and then you take a step, and then that room's on the left.
Yeah, and you can see this like drop down, like almost for sure they put a header in there to open this room up a little bit. That's why it drops down like this.
Yeah.
They didn't. This wasn't like a layout that was being built, and you can from the outside you can tell the house is like like a lot of other houses that we see.
It's a 1950 store and a half.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this house, and this is not a layout that you see.
No. Yeah, it was a corner lot. It was right by a four-way stop sign intersection, so you don't have cars zooming past you. But yeah, had some nice lights, and the garage was in really great shape. So I'd like to checking that one out.
Cool. Yeah.
Basement was good too. Like it was finished for the most part. It just needed a little bit of updating, but I mean, great walkability down there too. You just don't get that a lot. A lot of these basements are like kind of crammed.
And it's got like a driveway. It's not just an alley.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
You have driveway and big 2-car garage. I mean, tons of space in there.
Before we go to the next one, Clayton commented, "What's a great side hustle job up there? I'm looking at doing something on the weekend or at night, like 10 to 15 hours a week, side hustle." Thoughts on that?
I mean,
Uber?
I was running groceries a couple years ago.
Is it nights and weekends?
Yeah.
Serving, bartending, bro. It's
Yeah.
the best cash you'll make.
I mean, true. Yeah.
It's going to be less flexible than a ride share or a Uber Eats type thing, but the money is going to be as good as it gets for a side hustle unless you know how to code or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk to Mr. Codes.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
But
Jesse with a quick whip.
if it's like super needs to be really flexible, probably some like app-based thing, But yeah, I do think some hospitality, which by the way, if you're in Eagan, there's going to be a ton of different restaurants, like super close by. I bet you could pick up, two, like a Thursday, Friday serving shift, if you could get something like that, even probably like a Tuesday, Thursday at a lot of places, you'll make more than if you were, Ubering or something like that. But yeah, I think that's probably the move. If I can think of anything else. I'll let you know. Let's move over to the St. Paul here.
Yeah, this one is actually in Matamidi. So, a little northeast of
Warner?
the city. Yeah, Warner Ave.
Okay.
Is that, yeah.
Yep.
That's the right one. Yep. I just lost it. Because...
4-bed, 4-bath, 3,200 square feet for $500,000.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like three blocks from the lake. I cannot talk tonight, but no, it's super close, and I loved the hardwood. That bathroom, a few pictures in, the tiled bathroom and the grout finish on the bottom, and the vanity was really cool. If you find that picture,
Working on it.
yeah, you get through there.
There we go. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love a tiled ceiling.
So cool.
Don't want to do one ever, but yeah, love a tiled ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, that vanity was real sweet too. Yeah, I don't know. White Bear, Matabidi, it's a great area, and just yeah, definitely. I mean, 4-bed, 4-bath. That's just kind of monstrous,
That is huge.
That's
Tuck under garage.
It's got some great curb appeal.
Huge driveway situation.
Some nice landscaping too. I like the it's a limestone retaining wall. It looked like.
Yeah.
A lot of stone. Ooh,
Nice.
this wood fire stove situation. Come on.
Dang, the
chimney?
driveway is pavers too.
Looks like it
mostly.
could use some tuck pointing. This whole situation could use some love, but it is sweet.
Yeah, I mean, huge yard. It's sweet.
They've got pavers all around the house. It is wild.
They got stock and pavers or something.
It's a nice house.
Yeah, very cool.
They for sure have a dog.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
said.
This one is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,700 square feet, listed at $659. It's in sort of the southwest neighborhood of Minneapolis, which we've talked about quite a bit. Awesome. It's like really close to where my mom grew up, actually. Not that that impacts anybody at all. But I love that area.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that area earlier. It's, it's a very desirable area. With this one, I love that Zen room. I think if it, got painted white, it could have that nice shiplap appeal to it. Love that. Kitchen maybe could use a little bit of updating, but I mean, all in all, it's like it's in great shape. That bathroom had kind of like that vintage. I don't know what you call it, but like the
Yeah. Glass block.
glass block.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the area speaks volumes to like the kind of house you're gonna get, and just all in all, it's in great condition. I really liked that the curb appeal of it too. With the garage door just really stood out to me.
It's just very large.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of house for that area.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all updated too.
The exterior is very, very nice. Yeah, the exterior shines a lot.
Yeah, big deck too. I mean,
True that.
gotta love it.
Yeah. You gotta unpit me real quick. I don't know. Do we have any other comments? Okay. I gotta open this other one.
Yeah, I mean, I got. Are you doing the Holly Ave one? I sent 2, but we don't need to do both of them.
Yeah, Holly.
Okay. Yeah, we'll this will be the last one then.
Okay. Ready whenever.
The same price point. Yeah.
It's got to be in Summit Hill.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Cathedral Hill, like same thing. Yeah, over Cathedral Hill, kind of West 7th area. It's like the heart of Cathedral Hill, but all original woodworking throughout the house. I mean,
Dang.
look at that. I mean, it's beautiful.
What's the build date on this?
This one is 1896.
Dang, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
825, 7-bed, 5-bath, 6,700 square feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
it's a mansion.
Yeah. Super historic. Pretty historic area as well of St. Paul.
Makes my heart happy to see the wood grain and that someone didn't just bomb this with white paint.
Right.
It would physically hurt me to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the character of the home. Like, you get rid of that and...
It's that old, it might even be protected. You never know. there's historical preservation societies over there, aren't there?
Interesting.
It's like a proper mansion. Yeah, St. Paul has.
Look at the staircase.
Yeah, it's like a proper. It's like 3 stories.
We had one set of clients that bought a home in Whittier that was of similar, not quite this large, but similar build date and architecture.
Very stately.
Those staircases are awesome.
The railing posts too. Those are something else.
Can you imagine how much that would cost these days to have like a craftsman make those spindles?
Yeah, if you could, you'd be looking a long time for somebody, I think, who would make it look like that.
Yeah.
That's sweet though. Even like the garage is like a carriage house, you know?
Yeah.
Very cool.
An actual carriage house.
Yeah. That is very sick. Okay, I think we can unpip, yeah? Thank y'all for watching. This has been another To the Twin Cities Live. I'm going to make sure that there's another comment. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments. Always thank you for the support. Do me a favor, give the video a thumbs up. Would appreciate that very, very much. And as always, if you want to work with us, you can go to our website, tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less. Or you can just send us an email to info@tothetwincities.com. They'll lead to the same inbox. So however you want to do it, up to you. Spring market's here. Where it's hitting. You're going to start seeing more homes. We're seeing a lot of like more activity from our clients who are, just now being like, all right, now's the time. It's an exciting time. Market seems very, very healthy here, just like a nice blend of supply and demand, definitely more on the demand side. But all in all, I think that's fairly healthy for spring in Minnesota. Thanks for watching. See y'all in the next one. Fade to black.